Rafa Marquez learns his fate. Frings is back in Toronto, and San Jose and RSL face off for top spot in the West. Next on The Daily. Welcome to The Daily. It is Friday, April 20th. I am Andrew Wiebe. Next to me, Jason Seguini. And Jason, the big news yesterday, the big news all week really, was wondering what punishment Rafa Marquez was going to get for that incident against San Jose last Saturday. It finally came down yesterday afternoon. 3-game suspension and a fine. You guys on Extra Time Radio had the disciplinary czar, so to speak, and he may have explained things a little bit better. Can you pass that on?
Yeah, the Executive Vice President of Competition, Nelson Rodriguez, joined us on the show to talk about the Marquez incident, some other incidents, and really what goes into making that decision. So it was interesting to hear his perspective, how they went about coming up with this decision. And in the end, he said, there are some people who thought we were too hard on him. There were some people who thought we were too light. So that probably means we were somewhere around the right area. I think 3 games is fair. It could have been a little higher. I would have been okay with that as well. But for the Red Bulls, that means a big hole in their midfield.
And you can listen to that interview on Buzzsprout or iTunes. Catch that there for Nelson's explanation of exactly why they made that decision. But there is a game to play, of course. On Sunday on ESPN2, DC will host the Red Bulls. What are the big things there? Seems like a lot of lineup shuffling maybe going to take place.
Yeah, with the Red Bulls, it's who's going to fill in the middle of the field. You expect Dax McCarty to be there, but remember, Timu Tainio is also out. I'm looking at Joel Lemper. I think they're going to put him back into the middle. Bakke had said that, to him, Lemper and Bellucci, they're outside midfielders, but it looks like now he's going to be forced to move Lemper back there. He's had success in the middle of the field before, and he's comfortable there. We'll see what he can do against DC. And also in the middle of the field on the other side, I'm looking at Dwayne De Rosario. Where is he going to start? He's played forward. He's been moved to attacking midfield. He's done the opposite, for Ben Olsen. So where does Olsen start him? I think he needs to be an attacking midfielder. Get Maicon Santos back into the starting lineup.
Yeah, a big game as well. DC is unbeaten in 5 games. A little bit of a surprise there. And New York unbeaten in 4.
And remember what happened last year, Andrew, when they went down there. New York beat them 4-0 handily. So that's going to be interesting if DC can get some revenge here.
Yeah, definitely one to pay attention to. Once again, 6 p.m. Sunday on ESPN2. Another guest on Extra Time Radio yesterday was Chris Rolfe, who returned to the Chicago Fire after 2 years in Denmark. He will face off potentially against Toronto FC at 3:30 on NBC Sports Network. Jason, a couple guys going back there, and Chris Rolfe may not be the biggest name involved.
Yeah, I think really Torsten Frings' return to the lineup for Toronto FC is probably as big as any player returning to their team. First off, Toronto FC 0-5 right now, struggling, really need some help. But they were so much better with Frings in the lineup than when he went out. So you look at this as maybe a chance for them to kind of rejuvenate themselves, get a second set of legs here, and really make a run at it, try to turn things around before it's too late. So Frings is going to be a huge piece for Toronto if they're going to turn this around.
Yeah, along that same line, AJ De La Garza scheduled to be back for the LA Galaxy. They go to Colorado, 9 p.m. Eastern, MLS Live. What do you make of that? Is that important for them? Is he a piece that really matters?
Yeah, De La Garza's return is actually huge for the Galaxy. He's the glue back there in the central defense without Omar Gonzalez. Last week, we saw Tommy Meyer teamed up with David Jr. Lopez. 2 new players, one new to the team, the other a rookie. They struggled at times to hold their line, to keep coordinated, and you saw Chris Boyd scored 1 goal off of it. He actually had another goal that was called back that should have counted. So for me, I think De La Garza back in there kind of settles things down for the Galaxy, and they'll need it against the speedy Omar Cummings.
Staying in LA, another return that people have been waiting for weeks now. Juan Pablo Angel scheduled to come back for Chivas USA against the Philadelphia Union. That game, 10:30 p.m. on MLS Live on Saturday. Huge return for Chivas.
Yeah, we don't know how long he's going to play, but he said this is the longest he's been out in his entire 19-year career. So he's really chomping at the bit to get back on the field. He will play a big part for Chivas USA, not just in scoring goals, but holding the ball, getting other people involved in the attack. This is a big one for Chivas USA, who's trying to win their first game of the season at home. They're unbeaten on the road, haven't won at home.
A little bit of a strange go for them so far, but you can catch all those games on MLS Live and the NBC Sports Network. Check MLSsoccer.com for those listings. And while Rafa Marquez got all the attention for his suspension, San Jose had a man go down of their own from the disciplinary committee. Marvin Chavez getting a 1-game ban for his tackle on Roy Miller in that same game against New York. San Jose playing RSL. That's going to be a huge game, probably the best game of the week. But San Jose is going to be scrambling, Jason.
Yeah, they have some holes to fill. Victor Bernardez, probably the biggest one in the back. Jason Hernandez maybe fills in for him. Bernardez, though, has been huge for the San Jose Earthquakes at the beginning of the season. Then you look at the wings, and you have Marvin Chavez out now with suspension. Shea Salinas out with the injury. They're really going to start scrambling, and they're going to test their depth. You could see rookie Sam Garza in there. We'll probably see Simon Dawkins in the midfield as well. So big test for Frank Gallup's crew. How deep is this team? He said before the season he thinks they're deep. He thinks they're going to contend. Here's the test.
Two players that likely will be available for that game, Alan Gordon and Steven Linhart, missed out last week with some injuries. But moving on, Sporting Kansas City still rolling. Did the businesses in midweek, a 3-1 win in Vancouver. They'll move a little bit south up there in the Pacific Northwest, go down to Portland for a game at 10:30 p.m. on MLS Live on Saturday. Kansas City trying to stay unbeaten. Portland trying to stop their slide.
Yeah, Portland's kind of like that, wounded animal, and you have to be cautious of it if you're Kansas City. Kansas City flying high. They go into a bye week next week, so they can put everything they have into this game. But Portland, it has a real chance to make a statement here. Even just a draw. I know it's at home, but even a draw against Kansas City and kind of stop that momentum would say something about John Spencer's crew. So we'll see if Portland can put something together. It'll be interesting because Kansas City comes out early, likes to score early, and then sit back a little, and play out the game. Portland, on the other hand, has scored the first goal in their last few games and then given up the lead. So it'll be an interesting dynamic to see how this game plays out.
Yeah, and once again, make sure you catch Extra Time Radio, Buzzsprouts, and iTunes. Very interesting interview there, Jason.
Yeah, and Nelson Rodriguez, again, the Executive Vice President of Competition for MLS, he explains how the disciplinary committee works. I think a lot of us, we kind of know about it. We take it for granted that the fans don't necessarily get to hear it. So this is your chance to get a great explanation of how it all works, why it's there, and what checks and balances there are. So check out Extra Time Radio. Don't miss that episode.
As well as the top spot for the Power 5 PK stoppers. Find out who we decided was the top guy between the pipes when the ball's at the spot. That's all we have for today. Make sure you catch all the action this weekend. We'll see you next week.